Should I buy my next house or should I build my next house in Nashville? Hi, my name's Alex Brandall, and I'm your friend in real estate in Nashville. Today, we're going to jump into the pros, the cons, and at the very end of the video, we're going to tell you what we really think over 2 decades of experience of helping people buy and build in Nashville. Let's jump into it. So, one of the first things that we talk about people when they're thinking about building a new house, the positives around building a new house is that it's brand new. It's brand new, fresh, clean. Everything is new. No one's ever lived in it. Now, we've had some really unique situations where clients had very specific allergies. We had one client who had a cat allergy that was so severe they could not live in any house that had ever been lived in or even had a cat set foot in the house ever. Well, obviously, new construction was a great choice for them. We've actually sold that client 3 other new constructions over their lifetime. But that's one of the positives is it's brand new. So another positive to new construction is all the new systems. The systems, the dishwasher, countertops, the cabinets, all of these things are brand new and they haven't been used by anyone ever before. And people love that. They want to put their own contact paper in there. They want to really put their stamp on it and make it theirs. So it's all truly brand new. Next, a positive for new construction is it has the latest technology. We are in an age and era that everything is developing and advancing very, very fast. Almost every 2 years, things are doubling in speed and capacity and storage. And so when you buy a new construction home, you have a lot of houses already set up for fiber wired in the neighborhoods, Ethernet connections in the house, or even Wi-Fi hubs automatically installed or smart corners in the house. Even cabling conduits throughout the house is an amazing, huge asset and positive for new construction because you can actually have, the cables run through the wall and be able to pull through and down and into the cabinet. So you have that really clean, finished look in your entertaining spaces as well as in your kitchen and family rooms. Another positive for new construction is modern floor plans. Now, it's really popular. Most people that we start talking to when they're selling and buying their homes is what about their next house? They want an open floor plan. And that's very much on trend these days. They want a big, open, entertaining area that they can have a lot of people in. They want a kitchen and living room and dining room kind of all combined. And let's not forget, when you're doing new construction, you have the benefit of being able to pick out the actual lot. You get to pick out which house, which lot, how it appropriates. We have tons of clients come through our business and say, hey, I don't want to be the last in the subdivision or the first in the subdivision or right next to a stop sign, or have all these different preferences over their time in life. And when you're buying in a new construction neighborhood, you have choices. It's not just the one in that one neighborhood and that one lot. You'll have 2 or 3 or 4 choices out there. Another positive for new construction is the design center. Now, some clients really want to go through this process and pick everything in the house, and some builders will let you do that. You can go through and pick the countertops and the cabinets and the floors and just everything in the house from the inside and the outside, even the elevation. Their builders will have 3 or 4 different elevations, the front of the house, to not make it so cookie cutter as you go through some of the newer construction subdivisions. You can pick every one of those. And that's a huge asset to some people who truly want to do that. And it's a huge negative to others who don't care to do that. Another positive for new construction is in-house lending, and they'll have vendors set up with building partners to have some preferred portfolio products that may allow you to go ahead and lock in your permanent financing, as well as having a small amount of money out of pocket while you're building, just the deposit or upgrades, as opposed to when you go through resale or building on your own, you have to buy the lot and pay interest monthly as you're going through and building and designing your own house. And going through that, you're paying for where you live in addition to paying for where you're going to live, and that full process as well. A negative for new construction could be the location. Now, there's lots of different types of new construction out there, but you'll find more opportunities further outside of the city, and they'll be in traditional subdivisions, as many as 50 homes, as many as 500 homes in individual subdivisions. And this can affect your location. So this is a negative around new construction, is that you may have to be a little bit further out. You may have a little bit more of a commute, and that could be a negative surrounding that. But it is something you have to go through and weigh out as part of the process when you're considering new construction versus existing homes and resale houses in Middle Tennessee. Lot size is a negative that comes up around new construction. You may find a subdivision that has three or four varying lot sizes, but in general, we're seeing a trend towards smaller lot sizes, and more efficient builds and use of land, as we're starting to see things spread out and be further out of town. Like we discussed in our prior point, that a lot of subdivisions and new constructions are a little bit further out. They're actually trying to get more homes into those areas, as opposed to older subdivisions. You may find an acre, half acre, or even 3 acres in our part of the world. We're starting to see under quarter acre, even down to a tenth of an acre, because people really are about the house and the new constructions and some of the efficiencies around that. Another positive for new construction is energy efficiency, and the new efficiency standards, both on water and temperature and insulation, and even some of the positives that are happening around the things that you could do on your house. Some houses, we've had a client just this year actually installed with the builder some solar panels and a wind turbine on their house, so they could actually start powering and offsetting some of their power needs on the grid by actually having solar and paying into the system, as well as a couple of wind turbines on their property. So if energy efficiency is important, new construction could definitely be about positive, because you could find out which ones are going to be best for you and your specific lot. Another positive for new construction is modern floor plans and the selections that you can make. Now, when you go through this, you may find out you need certain floor plan options. And we've talked about that. Maybe you need all on one level, or you want an open floor plan. But what about some of the other choices? What if you need a 3 or 4 car garage? Well, with new construction, you can make that happen. What if you need a very specific space? We're seeing some larger production builders actually leave a space open. They're calling it flex space, to allow for whatever specific room that may be needed, that's really kind of open and really wide and obtuse. Some people, it's Nashville, it's Music City, USA. Some people need a recording studio or a writing studio. And we're seeing some builders leaving that flex room to be whatever it might need to be. It might be a gym, an extra bonus room for whatever it might be. But we're seeing them be proactive and have that space there that you can actually work with them to design that specific need that you have for your families. Another negative for new construction is the time frame. Building from ground up could be anywhere from 8 to 14 months in our area, and that may just be not in your timing. You may have any number of reasons where that just doesn't work. And so if you need time, it's probably better to be focused on an existing home, because you can close in those in a much more traditional timeline, in a 20 to 40-day time period. Whereas, like you say, if you get started, you may find a builder who wants the right lot that'll fit all your 5 non-negotiables, but it may take you another 12 or 14 months before you're actually living in that house. Another negative around new construction could be competition. You may find that a builder has a release and has really high demand for their product in a certain market. It may be the actual floor plan, it may be the lot, it may be a lot premium, it may just be a section that they're just starting to release. And you may find yourself in a multiple offer situation, and you're having to compete and negotiate. And in that situation, you're not going to get to negotiate very much. Unfortunately, they have it. So the demand is going to drive the price and the terms, and the builder's going to want the best terms that they can because of the demand. Another negative around new construction can be poor craftsmanship or quality of materials. Now, unfortunately, there are people that do choose to cut corners or have a building standard that's just the absolute bare minimum. And in our area, we have a list that we know that has done that, or that's their building standard. And we actually share that with our clients, so they know who they need to avoid, or who we've had experience with that just does the bare minimum. And who wants just the bare minimum? When you're buying a new house or building a new house, you want that next level, right? You want it to be the best building standards, or just above the best building standards, right? And so that's a key thing to know when you're thinking about new construction, finding out who has that reputation or that experience in the market and who has experience with certain builders about which ones to do. Now, plenty have very high building standards and very good experiences, and we're happy to share those lists as well with you because we've been doing this for over 2 decades in our market, over 1,100 closings, and over half a billion in sales volume. So, me or someone in my company will be happy to guide you through this process as you're starting to make Nashville and Middle Tennessee home and guiding you for making this mistake because not a week goes by that we don't get a call from someone who says, "Hey, I'm under contract with the builder. I don't have an agent, but I think I've made a mistake. I'm not getting good guidance on this issue or this issue or this issue." And in the build process, when it's 6, 8, 10, or even 14 months, there can be a ton of different issues that come up. And if you're not moving to Middle Tennessee, we'd also be happy to make a connection to you with our partners and peers across the country that we know have the experience and the influence in the market to help you avoid this pitfall around new construction. Another negative on new construction is young landscaping. And you'll find that builders will have a landscaping package that they install pretty consistently, and it'll be good. It'll have some good root growth that'll hold the landscaping in place, but it's going to take quite a few years, 3 to 7 years, for that to start to really grow in and be a significant landscaping package. They're buying something that's there and delivering something, but ultimately it's got a long way to go. Most of the new construction neighborhoods are formerly pastures or they've been completely scraped all the way down, and all of the growth or old growth that was there has been removed. And so that can be a negative if you really need or are looking for a home with significant privacy or established landscaping. New construction is not going to be the path unless it's an infill or a custom build. When we're talking about a subdivision like this, it'll be young landscaping. Another negative around new construction is living in a construction zone. When you buy and you're one of the first houses, there's a definitely value to buying and being one of the first new homes in a new subdivision. But actually, it comes with a lot of other things. You're going to hear noises and you're going to deal with construction and dodging trucks and having flat tires from nails and other building materials, in the neighborhood over the next many months while they finish building out the neighborhood. Now, depending on where the subdivision is, if you're one of the very first ones, there's a value to that. And that could be a positive in new construction because you're one of the first ones in because they know they're going to increase prices over time. But you're also going through the hassle of hearing the hammers and nail guns and saws throughout the week and probably 6 days a week. And they do start quite early, especially in the summer, to get going before it gets too hot. And so that's another negative that's around new construction and living in a new construction neighborhood. Okay, so let's talk about some positives around resale. A positive for resale is your location. You can pick exactly where you want to be. Commonly, they're closer to town, so you'll have shorter commutes and you'll be closer to attractions, whatever shops or places of interest, a country club or restaurant or school or anything like that that you may be looking into, and really sensitive to that commute. And in your work commute, typically resale will allow you to be in town and pick the exact neighborhood in the exact area in the exact community that you want to be in. Next is established mature landscaping. Now, we've had a client a couple years ago who absolutely was what we called an approach buyer. They cared what it looked like the minute that those tires hit the driveway and saw the for sale sign and saw the address on the mailbox. How does it feel when I approach this house? And mature landscaping can absolutely contribute to what that approach feels like. So if you want a very private with a lot of distance from the road and some established landscaping, this is a key thing for resale, is that you're going to find that. And in certain parts of town, you're going to know that they're going to be established. They're going to winter, through the seasons. Here in our part of the world, we have all four seasons, and it's a huge asset to us. But you know that if you've got established landscaping, there's already lived through the cold winters and the super hot summers and the rainy springs, and even through the falls with going through and losing all the trees. So you've got some established things, and that can be a huge thing and a huge asset and a positive to buying an existing home. Another positive to buying a resale home is traditional floor plans, and you'll have that over decades of different design. You may have a very specific floor plan in mind. It could be traditional or contemporary or mid-century modern, or it could be any number of different choices. And in our market, we have an enormous amount of different floor plans because we have established homes for over 100 years. And with resale, you know you're going to get the exact style and floor plan that you want. Time is a huge positive for resale. You can have and expect a typical 20 to 40 day closing time on a resale house, and that's pretty common. More than 60 is kind of starting to push it. It's not uncommon, but it is a little bit more and outside of the boundary. But if timing is important, getting to town to start a job or getting to town to be with family or getting to town to start school, if that's important, then we really want to focus on the market of the moment, the houses that are on the market. And listen, for 2 decades, we've been helping people do that here in Middle Tennessee. Love to really start to put your personal fingerprints on your search and tell you exactly what's going on and where your opportunity lies in the market. Another huge advantage for a resale house is a pool and fencing. Now, very, very rarely will you find a new construction house where they're going to install a pool or a fence in advance. And if you absolutely are a pool buyer, and you know if you are, we've had plenty of pool buyers in our time in market, and you can actually find huge values in pools here. Another positive for resale is negotiation. Now, people move for all kinds of different reasons, but as we discussed about new construction, builders very, very rarely negotiate because they have dozens and dozens of other lots to build on. And so they're very, very guarded about their price. So if it's important that you want to negotiate, going to resale is a key. Now, the difference here is people move for all kinds of different reasons. So you may find different reasons and different ways to negotiate. And we can share that because we may have a relationship with the listing agent, or we may already know why that particular seller is moving, having talked with them about another client or having showed it before to a different client. And that may be the absolute key you need to getting your best deal on your next house and this resale purchase. Okay, so some negatives around buying an existing or resale house is the improvements. It's lived life. You may move into a house or find a house that's in the exact right neighborhood and community and has the commute that you want, but it has a roof on it that's 17 or 18 years old. And it's not leaking now, but it's definitely going to need replacing in your time of ownership on it. And that can be something that you're like, look, I don't know anybody. I'm from out of market. I don't have any resources. I just don't want to deal with that. Now, when that gets said in our business, we say, don't worry about it. We've been in this market for 2 decades. We're happy to help you, happy to guide you, and put you in touch with a new vendor that'll help when that time comes. But some people are like, no, 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 it's non-negotiable. No, I just don't want to deal with that. It'll just bother me. I'll be up at night every time it rains, wondering if it's going to leak. And in that case, that's a negative in the resale, and it may be a reason to focus on new construction. Another negative around a resale is the inspection. Now, when you go through an inspection on a resale, it's not clear if anything is going to get repaired and if it's going to be repaired by who. And it's really a second or even a third renegotiation of this deal. And many clients just don't want to deal with that. It's too stressful. It's too stressful of a process to be selling another house, buying another house, or moving in from another market. And they're like, I just don't want to deal with that. I want to do my inspection, know that it's in good shape, and have the builder fix everything and deliver to me a final finished product in the best condition that it possibly could be when I close. Another negative around resale is upcoming improvements or repairs. This could be structural, this could be systemic, it could be energy related that you've got to go through and re-insulate the house over the 50 years that that house has lived there. The insulation's gotten way packed down and the house is just not keeping the warmth in it that it should. Or it could be a system replacement. It may be time to get a new central heat and air system, or any number of things that come up with resale over the life that they live. We currently have lived in both new construction and resale, and I'll say it's about the same, but it just depends on your personal preference. If you've only lived in new houses and feel comfortable with that, then let's stay on that track. If you've only lived in old houses and like doing the things as they come up and are comfortable with that, then let's stay on that track. It does come down to personal consultation and talking about and weighing out some of the other priorities in your search. So that's just another one around an existing house. Okay, so if you've made it this far, we know that there's a couple of key factors that you've got to consider when you're considering new construction and an existing home. So let's put a summary together on which one we think really wins out head to head so you can weigh out what matters most to you and your family, and then we can get started together. So, first things first, let's look at customization. Now, if customization as a choice is very important to you and your family, then absolutely new construction wins out. Being able to customize a house from the beginning, from the building, how it appropriates, which direction it faces, all of the selections inside of it. New construction, no question, hands down, the winner by going through and being able to pick everything. The next consideration when you're considering between buying an existing home and new construction is your time frame. And this one is another clear cut, hands down, no question, existing homes gotta be for sure. And now here's why. Because new construction can have so many different delays. It's a brand new build. It can have any number of different things that can delay and delay and delay the process. And that can just drive people entirely crazy. And if you're one of those that you need to be here in a hurry, then absolutely going after an existing home is the fastest and easiest way to get started. The next consideration is energy efficiency. Now, this one, yet again, fairly clear cut, and energy efficiency is going to come down to new construction. We know and are constantly evolving and knowing both on our mechanicals, on our systems that we put into new houses, what are more efficient, as well as our insulation techniques, and then making them tighter. Some of the newer windows have UV filters and are double paned and have gas in them to help keep the energy in the house that we want and the sun's rays out. That keeps houses from heating up more in the summer and pulling more on a drain, or vice versa. That'll help keep insulation in and the warmth in the winter. Here in our market, we get all four seasons, and we're so lucky for that. But we're evolving and learning over time too, and making sure we're continuing to improve our efficiencies. And so that's a for sure thing around new construction. You're going to have a more efficient house, both in the insulation and in the systems throughout the house. Next, if location is important to you, this is another one that you can be pretty certain is going to go on the existing side. That's right. Existing homes, you're going to know exactly where it is. You're going to know without question where that's going to be. You know how the community is around it. You're going to know the exact lot size, the exact lot location, who's already there. If you're in a new construction, you may be the first house on the block and don't know what that's going to really look like, or what that commute's going to look like, or how it's going to change when other neighbors start moving into the neighborhood. So if location and commute is critical, then absolutely this one falls to the resale and existing home. Okay, next consideration, whether you're going to buy or buy an existing or build new, comes down to repairs and renovations. And this one's debatable a little bit, depending on what's going on in each individual situation. But actually, we're going to give this one to new construction. And simply because with every client, we absolutely tell them no matter what, you want to get an inspection. An inspection is some of the best money you spend in the process. Home inspector will go through, this house hasn't lived much life, right? No life, actually. It's brand new. It's a newborn house. And going through with an inspector is really important, both on value, but also it's really important to go through and you'll know that it's delivering fully finished. But the value here and the thing that really puts this over the top for new construction is typically when you do it, the builder will just go through and fix everything that they find. We tell the story all the time that people go, how could there be something wrong with a new house? Well, there's lots of different subcontractors in a very long time that houses get built, and things change day to day, hour to hour, and coming through at the very end and making sure with a professional that it's in the best shape that it possibly can be, some of the best money you spend in the transaction. Okay, the next consideration between buying and building comes down to your financing options. Now, this is going to get a little technical. Unless you're an all cash buyer, you're going to be doing some kind of financing on this property. And actually, this is going to fall to the existing home because with new construction, you're actually probably going to be building with the builder and they're going to be having all the costs there Or if you're building your own custom with your own custom builder, then you're going to be setting up and having a construction loan, which on the financing side, is going to have you paying two different mortgages and two different expenses as you go through the process and paying interest. Whereas if you're just moving from your current home to the next, there's efficiencies there and pretty typical and pretty common institutional products that are there. There are some really creative products that may be available to you given what you do, or some different credit unions, or even some specialty products that your financial professional may have. But we love talking through that and guiding people through that and seeing which ones they have and which tools and resources are available to them. So we're happy to talk to you about that as you get started. But as we talk about financing, that falls to the existing home favor and a check mark to them. When you consider safety, safety is going to fall and go to new construction, right? We're going to know certain things, and certain materials are no longer safe or have different impact over time. Whereas a resale house, you may or may not know those things. You may or may not know that a certain electrical box is actually not safe, or a certain type of wiring isn't safe, because you may not know it's hidden behind the walls and behind the insulation. You just don't know through there. So with new construction, it's going to be at the current safety standards, and you can feel completely confident both structurally, materially, and environmentally that you're going to be in the best place around safety of your home. And our last in our summary of consideration between buying and selling is overall cost. And this one's a tough one. It's definitely debatable, but we're going to give this one to existing. That we do think over time, the shortened amount of time and the ability traditionally to move into a home in 30 to 60 days is overall going to be a cost savings, the opportunity to be able to negotiate, and the value add of the house having already had a family live in it is just going to be a value add and a cost advantage over new construction. Because when it's new, everything has to be done. The landscaping has to be done, and the towel racks have to be bought, and the toilet paper holders have to be bought, and just all of the things. It hasn't lived yet, and so it's going to have that big run up over the next 18 months of its life of fully finishing it out over time. Thanks for joining us for this. And as you could tell, we're super passionate about this, but at the end of the day, each one of these non-negotiable factors for you and for your family will weigh out and lead you to what's best. There's always an opportunity in every market, and there's an opportunity on both resale and new construction. And so in order to tell you what's going on and the best opportunity for you, reach out to us. We want to hear from you. Me and my team are excited to connect with you, and to connect with you here in Middle Tennessee. Even if it's 6 days or 6 months from now, we'd love to schedule time, start you on our journey to helping make Nashville home. And if Nashville's not going to be your home and you'd love us to help make an introduction across the country or even across the world, we'll be happy to connect you. Thanks for joining us. Until we connect again, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you soon.